How far are you willing to go to have your keksual needs met? How far out of the relationship are you willing to step? And if you cheat on your partner, despite loyalty being one of your core values, were you just pushed too far?
The wind died.
Is it a cry for help?
Damn it, I just really want to be just really.
Is there a cheating pass, or are we just finding reasons to justify what one person is doing while condemning the same actions of the other?
Please, Charlotte. I feel bad enough already. Good. You should feel bad. They took vows. Vows he broke.
Where's the limit? Is there a limit? You know how we do it here. We narrate, we analyze, we often judge. And we do believe that we know better and we would do better. Hopefully. Charlotte and Trey are at the McDougal's estate. They're visiting Trey's mother, Bunny, but also hanging out with Trey's brother and his wife. While the boys are playing tennis, the girls are watching, sipping tea, and criticizing Charlotte's off-white. You see, they were supposed to wear white, okay? So what Charlotte is wearing, it hints on ivory, to be honest.
I don't think Charlotte Tippin issued a copy of the McDougal house rule.
Well, Charlotte is becoming a part of the family, and there are certain rules to follow. And tradition is important.
You know, girls, when you marry a McDougal, you're marrying history.
Yes, well.
Side note, I think the color correction in this scene was a little bit off because to me, Charlotte is wearing white, like blinding white. The whole vibe is very passive-aggressive. Like no one is like, Charlotte, this is not white. This is a little bit off-white. And we would like you to pay respect to us. No, that sounds wrong. Honestly, I'm too poor to understand how this passive-aggressiveness is being a normal conversation. Charlotte, though, speaks their language. She understands it completely.
I guess I better go change.
Here we go again, right? There are certain rules. There is certain image to preserve. There is the yes and no when you are a McDougal woman. And Charlotte needs to make sure that she fits into that. Now, she's walking through the garden towards the house to get her clothes to change. And we can also see it on her face. She's like, okay, just, put on a happy face. And now let me change everything about me because I'm again doing something wrong, I guess. But as she is walking, there he is. A creature she never really noticed.
Good morning.
Morning.
A creature that's taking away her breath and sight. And I don't know where to go with this. He is the most majestic man she has ever seen. It's the McDougal gardener doing gardener things. He's young, muscular, sweaty, and Charlotte cannot stop looking at him. It's like there is this force that is just calling to her. It's the taboo. Charlotte, a McDougal wife on the McDougal estate where everything is structured and perfect and traditional and the way it is supposed to be. And yet, there he is. Something she shouldn't even think about. Something she shouldn't even be attracted to. Is that forbidden fruit in the Garden of Eve. It is very tempting for Charlotte to hump him right there, right then. So I guess we're going with Charlotte being the Eve and Gardner the snake, that it's offering that passion, that forbidden fruit. But will she bite or will she stand by her morals? She's also sharing this experience with the girls. You see, she's back in the city, they're having lunch, and she's like, I have no idea. What is this?
He had the most intoxicating scent, like sweat, mixed with something else, something sweet yet pungent.
You know the man can plow.
Samantha is not surprised. It's the scent of knowing that the man can do it. Wink, wink. You see, despite Charlotte and Trey having that breakthrough and finally doing it, it has been a dry season ever since. On Trey's side. Charlotte, rain, thunder, but no shelter.
This is insane. I'm married. I can't be looking at gardeners.
She pulls herself together. She is a married woman and she shouldn't be looking at gardeners like that. Which, if you hadn't known, yes, of course he's a man, but a gardener, oh, that's for Charlotte an additional no-no. What now? Did they really put that in the whole scene? Yeah, Charlotte would be canceled today. Canceled. So clearly Charlotte is objectifying this poor man. All she sees is the sweat, the muscles, the sand. Everything is about physicality. And let me just add here a little note. It is wrong. I mean, of course you can say, why is it wrong? It's like an innocent thing. But if the roles were reversed and there was a woman and a guy was looking at her and he would be, oh my God, her breasts, her lips, her ass, like we would be like, ugh, disgusted. So this is not okay. She's clearly reducing him to just an object, a sexual object. And this man is basically representing everything that she is missing in her marriage with Trey. The passion, the earthy vibe, realness, authenticness, rawness even. Now Charlotte is not only gushing about this man in front of her friends, she takes it to the bedroom. Our Miss Charlotte has a wet dream about the gardener. And this dream is so insane that she is finally hitting her head on the headboard. You know, the sensual concussion we were talking about last time.
Don't you ever just want to be really pounded hard? And it's all sweaty and your head is knocking up against the headboard and you feel like it might just blow off?
A man in her dreams is making her do that. But then the reality kicks in. Trey wakes up and he's like, babe, you had a nightmare.
Charlotte, wake up. A nightmare. You're having a nightmare.
And she's looking at him thinking, Bis, you're the nightmare. I mentioned it before, but to me, it is insanely interesting how they do not explore any other ways of being intimate with one another when it comes to Charlotte and Trey. If it's not the traditional intercourse, then nothing else is worth it, I guess. And I wonder how much this comes from very traditional or conservative beliefs around sex. But here is where things get even more interesting. You see, it's another visit at the McDougal's family. And Charlotte, this time, she is dressed the part. It's white on white on white. And this time, she walks up to the garden.
Where did you get such a green thumb?
Well, it's in the family. 3 generations. Now, Charlotte is flirting, and everything about her is saying, do you want me?
What a wonderful tradition. I'm Charlotte, by the way. Trey's wife.
I know, I'm Bert.
Now, clearly, when I was watching this and with my own values and morals, I was like, are you? Excuse moi? What's going on here? Why is she lusting so much after another man when she has her husband and she should be focused on fixing that? But the problem is that Trey is not open to fixing that. But whatever it is, we also know that Charlotte is not that type of a woman, okay? She is very about loyalty. Honestly, I don't even know what does it mean, that type of a woman. A person. She is a loyal person. She is very against cheating. She gave Carrie hell when Carrie stepped outside of her relationship to be with Big.
How could you do this?
So the fact that she is now almost kind of, indulging in this, first, were her beliefs fake, right, when it comes to loyalty and so on, which I don't really believe. Or the second is that, she's been pushed to this point where her needs are not being met and it's actually impacting her core beliefs. Like now she's even willing to think about other men in that way, even though she is a married woman. And it's again this sense of Charlotte getting more and more in touch with what does she actually want, which is authenticity, which is something real, open, connection. Even if you think about the setting, there is this McDougal structured, everything perfection image, and then there is this man who represents this raw, authentic self. And it's almost like she's craving that. She's craving to step out of the image she always constructed, but now also other people are pushing in on her and she's kind of just over it. All in all, it is clear that Charlotte is more and more not more and more disconnected from this marriage. It feels like she's totally disconnected from it. It's an image they're playing. It's the facade. It's the representation on the outside, but there's no real substance between the two of them. And she is clearly mentally already checked out. That's how it feels.
These roses are so beautiful. What kind are they?
The gardener picks up a rose and he says something gardening-ish about the rose. But basically, they smell good. Charlotte is smelling the roses and she's smelling this intoxicating man who is standing next to her. And he kisses her. Honestly, I was a little bit shooked. Like, this man just went for it. Charlotte is not pulling back. She's not like, oh my God, what are you doing? You know, maybe this was just a playful thing, but she would never do that to Trey, right? Oh no. She is into it. She is kissing him. And no, it's not another wet dream. This is real. Charlotte is cheating on Trey. Ta-da! Growth. And as much this is forbidden and hidden, a little secret, the sister-in-law walks by and she sees it all. So there you have it, people. We have lived it. We have experienced it and seen Charlotte stepping out of her marriage to be with another man. And here's the catch. It wasn't in the moment. And I'm not saying that would make it right. It would not make it right. But it does. It is telling when you actually understand that this was all intentional. This was planned. This was prepared. Charlotte walks up to this man ready, flirtatious. It's like she decided to and she is gonna try. This was premeditative cheating. So if you say that Carrie cheated by mistake, being pushed into it and blah, blah, blah.
Do not come in here. Don't follow me in here.
I have to talk to you.
What? What is it? What is it you have to say?
Charlotte was planning to do it. Which one is worse? Which one is worse? Well, they're both crap, okay? So let's not say, oh, one is like this, the other one is like this. Because here's the thing. Why am I saying this? Is because I try to kind of, scoop around the internet and see what is the vibe amongst the peeps when it comes to this situation. And the amount of people I've seen, well, it's different. It's a kiss. It's not like Carrie. Sure. I agree. I agree that it's different that she just kissed this guy while Carrie had a full-blown affair. But, cheating is cheating. There's also emotional cheating. Would you say if a guy is texting with another woman or if a woman is texting with another guy and having conversations and confiding in one another and blah, 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 but they never cross the physical thing, is it unfair for you to accuse them of cheating? Is it unfair for you to feel betrayed? And like I said, if we play that route, then we should also play that Carrie, the first time she cheated, was, emotional and almost manipulative in some way, while Charlotte clearly decided to do it. I mean, Charlotte had the mission, and that mission was success. There is a clear shift that happened in Charlotte and her experience with Trey. It's almost like the veil has been taken off. Everything that she strived for, that she believed on, in the perfection, in the fantasy, in how everything should be, it's almost like she's abandoning that. And she's like, you know what? It ain't it. But then this begs the question, is Charlotte's action a sign of empowerment? She is getting what she wants because her man is not even meeting her, trying to meet her in that way? Or is it just a desperate act? And I would say that it can be both. Maybe it is both. Now, if we go into the self-worth, context and so on, we could even say that this moment is Charlotte, again, in some way asserting her own worth, especially sexual worth. If Trey is not going to see her as that, if Trey is not going to put any effort for the two of them to be intimate, someone else will. And she doesn't care anymore. She wants to be seen as that, and she's going to take it. As much as we could say that Charlotte, is empowered by this because she's going after what she wants, because she feels so oppressed with all these views and so on, it is also a very desperate act. instead of figuring it out with her husband, and if he doesn't want to figure it out, then walk away, she just goes and does it with another guy. I mean, and she wasn't intimate. They just kissed. Okay, let's say that. And I don't mean just kiss. They kissed. We could say that she's empowered by going after fulfilling her needs or acknowledging them. But then also she is desperate enough to literally step out of her circle of values and morals. But then the question also becomes, maybe a value of loyalty is only a true value when two people are actually in it together, when two people are trying, when you feel like your partner is trying to make it better or you are supporting each other. But if the other partner is dismissing you all the time, they're not really meeting you in any way, then maybe the other value becomes more important and kind of almost overpowers the loyalty value. And it is the value of having my own needs met. That can be a totally real thing. Now, does it mean that it is okay? In my personal opinion, no. I would rather, end the relationship. But I could also understand if that happens and that, like Charlotte, now she's driven by another value and she's almost like, dismissing the marriage she has. And if we dip our toes into the symbolism, we can even talk about the white dress she is wearing. You see, she now has the correct white and she is polished and the perfect image of a McDougal wife. And it could very much symbolize the struggle she is in. On the surface, everything looks good, but beneath it all, in that hidden garden where no one can see it, she's exchanging a kiss with a gardener, maybe representing the rebellion, the dissatisfaction, and the authenticity that wants to break free. Now, just to be very clear, if I haven't been so far, cheating is not okay. There is a difference between understanding someone's behavior and trying to understand what is driving that behavior versus excusing or justifying the behavior. I can understand that why you did what you did was because of XYZ, but it doesn't mean that I also have to accept it. It doesn't mean that because I understand it, now it automatically means that I'm also gonna let it happen or I'm gonna, forgive you. If I don't feel that way and if I still want to preserve my boundaries and values, I don't care how understanding I can be. I can understand you and I can still say, but not for me. And again, imagine the tables being reversed. Imagine Trey feeling sexually frustrated in the relationship or in marriage with Charlotte, because maybe the story could be how Trey has certain kinks and he wants to explore, but Charlotte is dealing with this traditional conservative way and that would make him feel some type of way. And then he would see this waitress that was, again, I'm trying to, find like a gardener and a waitress, which it shouldn't have a point, but in this context, it has a point because there is this layer of the high society of looking at certain positions as though they can objectify it, right? Which is problematic in itself. So it's not me saying that, it's how the show is presenting this. And he would be passionately kissing them. Like, what would we be like, you can understand, Trey. No, we wouldn't. No, we wouldn't. We would be like, this is not the right guy. Why is sex so important? He should be trying to figuring out with Charlotte. He shouldn't be stepping. So we should have the same attitude also to Charlotte, no matter how much we understand her. Cheating is not okay, period. And I'm saying all of this because it is so easy to have these double standards, especially, and I'm calling us out, okay, the two of us, especially when it comes to women cheating. Sometimes because there is usually an emotional connection to like Charlotte in this case, right? She is cheating because she's feeling starved in the relationship and Trey's not meeting her. He doesn't want to talk to her about it and so on. And it's almost like now we are humanizing it. But if a guy would do the same thing, would we have the same attitude? Or are we, we have our biases and it's like, no, because men in general are just about that and they don't respect women and so on. And there could be truth to that, but it's time to... it's time. It is beneficial for all of us to have the same energy no matter who is involved, especially if we just want to separate it between women and men. Like, let's not say, if a woman cheats, it's because a guy didn't do something okay emotionally and it pushed her so far to do this and that's why you can understand her better. But if a man does the same, no, it's probably because he is a douche. It's not fair. So we're better than this, okay? Okay. And also, if we compare it to Carrie, just because we see Carrie doing so many bad things when it comes to Aiden, while Charlotte is not really treating Trey badly in any other way, apart from, seeing him as an image and he's going to fulfill that and that's it, which you could say that, yes, Charlotte is also not treating Trey very well, but in a way, because he's doing that same thing to her, we almost kind of forget about it. It's almost like we give the okay to Charlotte because otherwise she's, a good person, right? And we have our biases and our perspective that, she's not that bad. While for Carrie, because she is a representation of more freedom and doing mistakes and this and that, it's almost like we now have the right to judge her even more, right? I think those biases creep in without us even realizing. I'm sure you've experienced this. I'm sure you experience double standards in your life. And I would like to see that when that happens, at least let's be honest with ourselves and say, you know what? Yeah, it's not fair that now I'm, having this double standard right now. At least admit it, if nothing else. Don't be like, no, it's different, because it's not, okay? It's just your biases are making you feel like it's different. But objectively, doesn't matter how Carrie did it and how Charlotte did it. The question is, how do Aiden and Trey feel about it? That's the hurt that it's important. Being cheated on is being cheated on at the end of the day. There is hurt and betrayal. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. How do you see this whole situation? Do you feel like you give a pass to Charlotte and why? And why do you think that it's not a double standard or your bias is driving that perspective? And right now we see Charlotte basically having this double standard. Again, she was so mad at Carrie for getting involved with Big when Big was married, because marriage is a sacred thing and it's crossing a boundary you should not cross. But right now, it's almost like when she is hurting, now that boundary becomes a little bit more flexible. And it does show that this happens. It happens that when we ourselves are hurting, we will find a way to justify certain beliefs and values and morals that we had. And the thing is that there is, I could see that there are ways where you genuinely need to grow more and maybe your perspective changes and so on. But I don't like it when it's a total abandonment of morals just because it serves you. I think that values and morals, of course, they can change, but let's not change them just because it serves us, right? Like, because then what's the point of having it even? I don't know. Though it could even, on some level, show that Charlotte, her morality in general is more a performative thing, right? Marriage is sacred because that's how marriage is, rather than her, let's say, personal integrity or what she actually believes. So that's why it was so easy for her now to cheat on Trey. Again, it was intentional. But now it's time for the cocktail evening hour with the McDougals. And as everyone is sitting there, the sister exposed Charlotte's adventure in the afternoon. Just like that.
In the afternoon, I took a long walk around the property and saw Charlotte kissing the gardener.
No blackmail, no extortion, no telling the mother first. I mean, people, I'm telling you, this is another level of wealth that we don't even understand. Because we used to, she's now going to use this secret to get Charlotte to do, I don't know. Apparently, it's not working like that. They just say it because that's how you do. Trey looks at Charlotte. She's shocked, embarrassed, but the mother, the mother has some words for little Miss Charlotte.
Charlotte, you're a McDougal now.
Wait, what? Can we hear that again?
Charlotte, you're a McDougal now.
What in the freaking horror upscale society is going on here? Like if I was Charlotte, I would be thinking, okay, the next thing we're doing is sacrificing babies. Charlotte is confused. And Trey just kind of gives that awkward chuckle and that's it. I guess the men in this family have been trained. The mother is mothering. Clearly, this is nothing new. The fact that the sister-in-law just said it so casually means that everyone knows about this. Everyone indulges in the escapades with the gardener. Even the mom is like, well, girlie, welcome to the club. Hey, good, huh? Which honestly confused the shit out of me. But again, I'm too poor to understand this. Now, there are a couple of things, right? Why this reaction? The first thing is that, well, there could be a very real agreement amongst the people here that, stepping out of the marriage to have some kinky with the gardener does not count, okay? It's a gardener. It's not going to threaten our men. It doesn't mean anything. It's just a sexual need that we have and we are fulfilling it. If we pair it with the misogyny, it's almost like, there's this thing that women have, which is they get lust. So they can just experience it with whoever, the lower part of the societies they want to. It's okay, does not mean anything. The vibe is there is no scandal because gardeners are not worth the scandal. It could also show us that this is the norm. It is the norm that the McDougal men do not fulfill the needs of the McDougal women, and this is just a quiet agreement, okay? Like what's important is the union, is the image, things are working, but you can do it, I need it, everything is a little, just a side thing that women have, so we're gonna dip here and all is good. And if we pair it with Charlotte potentially seeing this as authentic and rebellious and raw and standing up for herself, maybe even empowerment in some way, it ain't it, because this is just another role that the McDougals already have in place, okay? Everything is scripted and no surprises. Without even knowing, Charlotte was like, oop, I'm stepping into a new tradition. Now, we also see again what kind of power does Bunny have and how the structure is in the McDougal family. Trey basically just, awkwardly chuckles, but he doesn't say anything. He just sits there and accepts it. And it's almost like Bunny is not only dictating how they should dress and what color is the right white, but also in general, what should be your reaction? What is your emotion? What is the authenticity? Or better, how not to be authentic, right? It's clear that Trey is almost trained, right, in accepting this, in not like being appalled by what just happened. We do see a disappointed expression on his face, but it's almost like there could be a thought, I genuinely hope that it won't happen with Charlotte. Now, Charlotte is even more confused with the whole situation. And I guess in a way, she's reminded that, well, as I said before, as much as this was kind of a rebellious thing, it's not. It's just another way of falling into the place that the McDougal set. And this, I would run because I'm telling you, babies are next. But people, will this be a positive thing? Will Charlotte look around and be like, Biff, I scored the jackpot. I can have it all. The upscale marriage, the money floating in, preserving the high society class, a part of the McDougals, and I can dip my toes outside and have some fun. I mean, it's a perfect combination to preserve both her fantasy and her authenticity. It's in the middle of the night. Charlotte wakes up and she notices that Trey is not in bed. He's out playing tennis alone. I guess he's, with the machine, hitting at a wall, and honestly, not important. He is shirtless. He is muscular, sweaty. And as Charlotte is looking at him, she feels nothing what she felt with the gardener. Even though Trey is giving, it's not giving. She asks him if he is okay. And as per script, of course he's okay. Like what? He just wants to train a little bit.
What are you doing out here?
Improving my serve.
Trey, stop. You're upset, and what I did was so wrong, and I'm sorry.
But Charlotte knows him. She knows this is bullshit, and clearly it bothers him. And what she did was wrong, and she apologizes. Trey, on the other hand, is looking at it logically. It is what it is. Clearly, he cannot fulfill certain needs that Charlotte has, and in some cases or time to time, he will just have to look the other way.
Apparently unable to meet your needs, so from time to time, as much as I detest it, I guess I'm just gonna have to look the other way.
I don't want a husband who looks the other way.
She wants a husband who will take her in his arms and be with her. A husband who will make her not want to kiss the gardener. Trey walks up to her. He looks at her and he probably has a certain smell about him. But it doesn't look like smell is smelling. He knows that no marriage is perfect. And what they share is wonderful. They have so many things that work for them. And it's okay.
We can have separate lives, still be together.
Totally acceptable.
He turns around and he starts walking away from her. And Charlotte sees her perfect husband on this perfect tennis court, in this perfect house, their perfect country house.
Trey, when we get back to the city, I think that we should separate for a while.
Alrighty.
Clearly, we see Trey totally giving up on their marriage ever being beyond the image, beyond the things that work. He gave up on passion. He gave up on closeness, on emotional connection. It's not just about, oh, he is accepting that he can't fulfill certain needs. It's more like he's just, resigning. And what is even more telling about the real problem that the two of them have is the very fact that in this very moment, Trey was everything that Charlotte was kind of wanting. He is looking masculine. He is doing like an activity, let's say a physical activity. He is sweaty, shirtless, right? He looks good, almost like the gardener. But the fact is that there is no real intimacy between the two of them. There is no real emotional connection. It's not just about the physical aspect of it all, though that is like the surface level, is the fact that they don't meet each other as real partners. And that's basically how Trey has been and he is from the get-go. It's all with the already. He avoids not wanting to talk about things, or he just accepts whatever other people tell him to accept. So for him, it's almost like, you know what? What's important is the image of the marriage. And we could even say this is like the difference between Trey and Charlotte in this very moment, because they both went quickly into this marriage because they were literally fulfilling each other's needs at that time or desires of being married or of being the perfect husband material, perfect wife material. But it's almost like they started then to go separate ways. Charlotte started to realize that that's not all that she wants, that she actually wants authenticity, while Trey is still on the same lane. No, it's okay for him. This is still the most important thing that I want. And I'm even willing for you to step out of the marriage as long as we preserve this thing that I was after from the get-go. So you can even see like two people, how one is potentially like experiencing real growth while the other one isn't. And we've talked about how Trey might be very well trained into this, conditioned to have this approach when it comes to emotions, connections, vulnerability, and how Bunny trained him to be a certain way, how men in those circles should be. And the reality about it all, the fucked up thing is, how selfish is it? How selfish he is in this. Because sure, you might say, oh my God, he loves her so much. He even allows her to be with other. No, it's not about that. It's about the fact that with this arrangement, he can still preserve the image that he wants. He can still be seen as the right guy, married with the right woman and so on, while Charlotte should also be okay with that. And I let you go out of the marriage. I let you get your needs met elsewhere. Like, if you look at it from that perspective, is like, boys, sit down. It's basically controlling. And he wants Charlotte to also accept that. Even him saying that, for time to time, I'll have to look the other way is again showing these misogynistic beliefs that a woman's desire, sensuality, sexuality is something that is separate for him. It's something almost unacceptable, hidden, secret, rather than him himself trying to figure out how he can make Charlotte feel that way. And that's the thing. Misogyny is not always right in your face. That's the easy part of misogyny. When someone is clearly treating you a certain way just because of the gender or you being a woman, it's easy to say bye-bye. The more problematic is when it's almost masked under this tolerance, acceptance, I'll look the other way, blah, blah, blah. When the reality is he does not feel it worthy to actually address this problem with Charlotte because he does not see the sensual part of Charlotte as something that is worthy of trying to fix, let's say, or trying to be a part of it. And as much as we want to say that Charlotte is being empowered or could be empowered by this freedom and this could be the perfect solution for her, no, it's basically reducing her and her sexuality also to something that is just an objective thing, separate, not worthy, and, that's it. Charlotte, on the other hand, has another, let's say, revelation in this moment and another breakthrough even. Because when she rejects Trey, when she rejects this quiet acceptance and tolerance, while still acknowledging that everything about them, like on paper, is perfect and everything she wanted to, she consciously starts to realizing that the perfect image without the real intimacy is worth nothing. On some level, for Charlotte, this could be a moment when she realizes that a relationship or love built on how everything is perfect and how everything is by the certain rules is nothing else but a facade. And if there is no emotional connection, it's not worth to preserve it. She rather steps aside. And that is Charlotte's truth. Her image, her perfection, her fairy tale wedding and fairy tale love was not about appearances at the end of the day. It was about her thinking that that is a genuine connection, her thinking that that is how love is supposed to look like. So even though Trey is offering that, the fact that he is offering that without the actual desire Charlotte has when it comes to love, being actual partners, she can't accept it. She won't accept it. Maybe Charlotte herself has a change of understanding what her actual values are. From the perfect image to the real authentic love. She doesn't want marriage for the sake of marriage. She wants that actual partnership and connection. Was taking that forbidden apple the right thing for her to learn more about what she actually wants? Maybe. Was it still cheating? Yes, it was. So, no. You take one and take the other. And that's the thing, right? When people cheat, unless you are, a narcissist or sociopath or, like really emotionally detached, sometimes it does serve for your actual growth. And the person on the other side can understand it. But it doesn't mean that by default, this person should be forgiven, like I said before, or that this person is by default a bad person. It just means this, you have shit to figure out. You need to step aside and that's it. And I'm going to do the same because clearly we are not good for each other in whatever way. Is it because you need to grow? Is it because I need to learn things? Yes, but that's how we're dealing with it. And this time, it also showed us how it served for Charlotte's actual growth. She apologized, she acknowledged she was wrong, and she stepped out of it. But will they be separate forever? Or will this push Trey to finally realize that he does not want to lose Charlotte and they will fix it all? Well, we'll see about that. But whatever you do and whatever your path is, the lessons that you need to learn, have in mind to always trust your individuality.